Welcome back to Tied Down TV, the punk rock opinion show with me, Geoff.
And Danny.
Today we're picking our 5 favourite protest songs. So
In all genres.
yeah, across the board. Which actually, spoiler, I haven't picked one punk song for this
Neither
list.
have I.
And the reason I didn't is because as much as there are just fucking loads of punk, hardcore, all the subgenres, they've got loads of protest songs, great lyrics. I felt like the biggest ones, the ones that seem to have had more of an impact in society, maybe, weren't actually punk songs.
Well, punk. The thing with punk. The thing with protest songs is a lot of the best songs come from like an era where like other music ruled, like folk.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And even going further back.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you know, like
Blues,
yeah, stuff like that. And you got to think about what people are protesting against. What are they usually protesting against?
some
War,
form of oppression,
civil
rights,
yeah,
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you've got to, you know, some of them are so powerful, aren't they, that they charge you up and stuff.
Oh, unbelievably, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So protest songs, yeah. I've picked a few folk ones. I've picked a few rockier ones.
Yeah.
Just the ones that mean the most to me, really.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So kick us off.
Okay, so my first pick, it's the easiest choice. I went for the title track of that one there. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. I've mentioned a couple of times, I think, over the couple of years of this show, how much of a fan I think we both are of Marvin Gaye.
And that song's
And
great
that
as well.
song, that album, unreal, incredible, one of my favourite songs of all time. So it was inspired by Ronaldo Benson, or he was known as Obi from the Four Tops. He went in, he was in Berkeley, I think, in around 1969, and he witnessed police brutality against during a protest, and you know that tied in with, at the time, obviously 1969, there was a lot of protest and civil rights movements and against the Vietnam War, etc. And it all just kind of thingied from there. And the story goes on. The song was written, I think the Four Tops didn't want to do it, and it ended up falling into Marvin's lap. And he went on and turned out, you know, made an all-time classic. Himself, as Marvin Gaye has said as well, that he's definitely started writing more politically because he experienced things firsthand in the way, like, he felt like he couldn't sing love songs anymore, almost, because of how messed up things seem to be, especially, you know, during the time of the 60s, maybe for the African American community and things like that. But as songs go, lyrically, like the picket lines, picket signs, don't punish me, it's just amazing poetry, beautiful song. I'd say one of the greatest of all time, definitely for me, one of, if not the best protest song of all time.
Doesn't come across like a protest. I mean, it's what's going on in itself.
Iron Fist in a Velvet Glove, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, 100%. My next is that it doesn't pull any punches, really. My first song, I've gone for Barry Macguire, Eve of Destruction from 1965. Not Harry Maguire, Barry Macguire. So, originally written by P.F. Sloan, was originally offered, I think, to Bob Dylan,
Right.
who, for whatever reason, didn't do it. As iconic as Bob Dylan is, especially when it comes to protest songs.
Yeah, very close to picking a couple himself.
I don't think he'd have done it anywhere near as good a job as Barry Macguire does.
Fair.
The song references issues of the period, such as the Vietnam War, the draft, civil rights movement, and the turmoil in the Middle East. Now, what's really great about this song is it starts off really, like, chilled out.
Mm-hmm.
With the brilliant opening lines, the Eastern world is exploding, violence flaring, bullets loading. You're old enough to kill, but not for voting. You don't believe in war. Well, what's that gun you're toting? And even the Jordan River has bodies floating. And he says that quite, you know, almost in a talk.
Yeah.
As the song goes on, it builds up as the tension is simmering and simmering and simmering. Whether that was by design, I'm not sure. But by the end of it, he's virtually screaming the lyrics. He's really angry and he's really pumped up. And it's a great song. The first time I ever heard it was in my dad's car, and I remember it very clearly at the time, because my dad's a fan of folk music, and that came on, and he turned it on, and he was singing every word along to the song. And he does that, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, looking, here we go. But as that song was playing, I was thinking, this is a great, great song.
It is a great song.
And then I downloaded the song when I got home, and yeah, it's a brilliant, brilliant standard of protest songs, protest music. It's one of the best, in my opinion. Excellent song.
Yeah, I concur. Excellent choice, that. Okay, so pick number 2 for me. I've gone for Fortunate Son by Credence Clearwater Revival. Again, just an iconic protest song. So this was written, recorded in 1969. John Fogerty, the lead singer. I will add, as a side note, by the way, Credence Clearwater Revival, when it comes to like 60s, late 60s and early 70s, if you like dad rock and things like that, hands down my favourite. All of their tunes they're just so catchy. But this one, it got inspired, obviously, again, because of the time, the Vietnam War, and it was the draft. And he said he sat down on the end of his bed and he's like, I ain't no senator's son. Because obviously, if you were sons of senators and military, military officers and billionaires, etc., you either somehow bought your way out of Dodge in the draft, or at least got a nice cushy officer's job way, way away from the fucking fighting. Whereas the majority were drafted and just sent out to kill, fight, and all that kind of stuff. Particularly, it was inspired by David Eisenhower, who was the grandson of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the former president of the United States. And it became such a big fucking anthem, staple of the protest movement against the Vietnam War in the late 60s, and across many movies as well. You've definitely heard this song in a film about Vietnam more than once, probably. Just incredible. His voice, fucking, when he's screaming it, and as the lyrics go on, and he ain't no senator's son, he ain't no billionaire's son, he ain't no military son, and it's just amazing. Again, just fucking brilliant, and an easy pick, one of my favourites.
You know what? I didn't know that was what it was about. So that was good. Okay. Next, I've picked Sam Cooke. Now, Sam Cooke, again, a very important voice in the 50s and 60s for, again, activism and protest and stuff like that.
Very much so.
It would be, you're probably thinking I'm going to pick A Change Is Gonna Come because it's the obvious one. Everyone knows it's one of the greatest protest songs of all time. I haven't picked it. I've picked Chain Gang from 1960, which I have on single. One of my favourite songs of all time. Now, Sam Cooke wrote this while he was passing a group of men on a chain gang while he was on tour. And he saw the conditions, and he was offering them cigarettes and stuff, and he was asking them questions, and he saw the conditions they were working in. And it's not a long song. It's like 2 minutes, and it's just, he's basically speaking from the voice of the voices of the prisoners, basically, and the who ha. That's kind of like to signify the sound of a hammer coming down on the rocks and all that, and in the the sound of the hammer hitting in the striking hot sun while they're working on the highways and byways, and they're thinking of their woman at home and all that while they're being treated like this on this chain gang. Sam Cooke, amazing, obviously famously murdered under strange circumstances in a prostitute's hotel room, if I remember rightly, from the documentary I saw about 10 years ago. But yeah, brilliant Sam Cooke. Again, one of my dad's favourites.
Iconic.
Again. Yeah.
All right, third one for me. I've gone for Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday from 1939. Lyrically, this is inspired by a poem. I forgot to write down who wrote the poem, so my apologies. Write it in the comments if you do know. It's a very obvious classic early protest song. It's haunting, like the music and her voice as it comes in, as it's with that crackling sound. Southern trees bear strange fruit. It's just blood on the leaves, blood in the root. It just paints such a vivid picture, almost direct. And obviously, the strange fruit referring to is the African Americans who were hung and lynched and hanging from the trees, resembling a piece of fruit hanging from a tree. It's, as I say, it's not a very long song, very haunting, very powerful. The first time I heard it, it was almost like you could feel like the pain and mixed with the anger of how people were being treated at the time. Especially the last verse, and it's there's fruits for crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. There is a strange and bitter crop. And, obviously it's almost speaking in metaphors, but it's just, for me, fucking powerful, moving song that, I feel like it's just unbelievably iconic, especially for the time period it came out.
Not familiar. I know the song, I know the name. Yeah. I just can't think what it is, but yeah, I'm sure I would. I know that the Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. I just can't think what it is. Right, so I've gone for a very misinterpreted song over the years, and this might shock a few people when I first say it, but I've gone for Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. Now, due to its patriotic tone, instrumentally, that you already want to put your fist up in the air, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But it would be easy to think that this is a proper flag-waving, right-wing, patriotic song. But in actual fact, it's a song about the disillusionment of Vietnam War veterans coming back from the war, and just feeling out of place, and it's and all that, and it's a real poke at the way they've been treated when they come home, and they're just totally disillusioned. And as you rightly said before to me, probably one of the most misunderstood artists of all time. Because you could even argue Dancing in the Dark is a protest song. Yeah,
he was protesting against writing a hit song. Ironically, it became a hit song. But the story I heard, that he was asked, about writing a hit, and that's you can't start a fire without a spark. Like, you can't do it without inspiration.
Yeah.
So for me, you could argue that point, definitely, yeah.
Well, there you go. I haven't got too much to say about it. I think it's a great song. One thing I'll say about Bruce Springsteen is I'm not a mega fan. Right, but I'm a huge fan of the hits. Okay. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a greatest hits fan of Bruce Springsteen. Fair, I'm a huge fan of the big songs.
Great hits,
and he's got some brilliant hits. I've never wanted to go and see him because of the length of time he plays live.
Like
I could not be doing with that. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, he's got, like you said, he's got a lot of good hits. He's got 9 or 10 that I really like, but 9 or 10 songs in a 4-hour set.
And he might not play all of them because he mixes his set list up with deep cuts and everything, covers.
It's a great song, and it's very, very deep when you listen to it properly.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Lyrically, like, if you read the lyrics, if you ever thought that was a pro-American patriotic anthem, go and read the lyrics, and it changes it completely.
Exactly.
Like, amazing. Yeah, so fourth pick for me, it's another blatant one, but it has to be picked. Public Enemy, Fight the Power. Can't do a video about protest songs and not bring this band up, can you? Fucking hell. So yeah, you could have picked numerous songs by these. I've gone for Fight the Power because it's obvious, it's so iconic from a massive iconic protest band. The production, just that sound, that Public Enemy, you know what I mean? As I will add, it's off that record right there, Fear of a Black Planet, which again is full of amazing protest anthems. But the lyrics are so incredible. Again, as I say, the production from the Bomb Squad's brilliant. Chuck D's lyrics just outstanding. Specifically for me, the Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant shit to me. Straight up racist. That sucker was simple and plain. Motherfuck him and John Wayne, because I'm black and I'm proud. I'm already hyped, plus I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appear on no stamps. Incredible fucking poetry. And again, a band that have been protesting for the last, going on 40 years, if not a bit more now, and had to come up. What else can you say about a song that probably everyone watching this has heard a million times, but I fucking love it. Love the band. What an amazing song.
I'm going to change up my order now because you've picked that, and I think this kind of is a good partner piece to it. Yeah. So, obviously, an album like that is going to be spoken about on an episode about protest songs. Obviously, this album is also going to be mentioned on an episode about protest songs. Now, the only question is, out of the 10, 11, whatever songs that are on this, which one do you pick? Because this is basically a protest album all the way through.
100%.
Right? So, obviously, you could go Killing in the Name, which was the big...
It's the obvious
choice. The obvious choice, especially when it was, it got to the UK number 1 a few years ago over Christmas time,
As a protest.
Yeah, exactly. Against, the pop charts and stuff.
X-Factor shit, wasn't it?
But that's not what I picked, right? The song I've picked off this is Wake Up, right? I first actually heard Wake Up, believe it or not, the first time I ever seen The Matrix in the pictures in the cinema, and I didn't like it at the time. No. Well, I was young and I was stupid and I didn't listen to the music.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the lyrics. I didn't really understand what was going on. You're just an idiot, aren't you? And you just want swearing.
Yeah.
give me some swearing, let's get going. Do you know what I mean? But no, politically charged, urging the listener to recognise systematic racism and the suppression of movements, particularly by the FBI. It highlights injustices to historical figures such as Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and it urges us to wake up and take a stand against the rotten system. And yeah, with the I believe the little break in it is even is a Hoover. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
President. President. You know, I mean, Zach De La Rocha at the time. I mean, he was on the ball with all this stuff, wasn't he? And I don't think, you know what I mean? I mean, to put it as articulately as he did, I mean, it probably... You can understand why you couldn't go anywhere alternative without hearing nearly every song off this a million times a night or whatever, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because it was so, you know, it's had such a big impact for a lot of reasons, and for a lot of the right reasons too. You know, and mainstream wise, you do not get do you really get song music that speaks like this to a mainstream audience anymore? Can you think of anything?
No, not that. I'm off the top of my head. Like
as mainstream music lost its balls, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
it's definitely. I feel like it's probably in a rut.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs someone to kick the arse out of it again.
Would it be allowed now though? Would it be allowed with the way things are?
Making. I think the internet, like anything.
Yeah, but even the way record labels are now, and the thing like that. Would you be able to say something against the status quo? Would you be able to? Do you know what I mean?
I think...
And have it on a mainstream platform.
Not all the mainstream platforms. No. I think now it's easier, even if you aren't accepted in that world, to get your shit heard now because of the internet. Obviously.
Of course, yeah. But it wouldn't put you on the top of the hit parade or anything like that.
You might not be getting on the thingy. Thingy, have you seen? You must have probably seen it. Like when they did make the Christmas #1 and they performing live on the BBC, and they were told to not do the "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me." So at the first, he's just going, "We won't do what you tell me," and then as he kicks back in, and he just goes, "Fuck you," and I think it cuts almost immediately.
Of course, he was going to do that.
Exactly. It's like, what are you fucking expecting from them?
Of course, he's going to do that.
Amazing though.
Just don't invite them fucking pricks back on. That's what you do. That's what you do.
Incredible band, incredible album. All right, last one for me. I've gone for Woody Guthrie, All You Fascists, Bound to Lose, if you know the song. I don't know the exact year. I think he was written during World War II. Obviously, Woody Guthrie, legendary folk artist, socialist, left-wing, very outspoken against, you know, the fat cats, if you like, and the people who ran things. This song, I picked this one because obviously, again, this guy's got fucking vast catalogue, and a lot of them are protest songs. I just picked this one because I feel like, I think the first time I actually heard this is Billie Bragg did a cover of it, and it's quite amped up. It's, you know, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, this is cool, great song, and realised it was a Woody Guthrie, and went back and heard more Woody Guthrie and got into him. You know, he was singing about the kind of things that the folk tradition took on into the 60s, people like Dylan and stuff like that. But this, again, it's just one of them songs, like Danny said at the beginning, it just gets me quite amped when I hear it, and, you know, singing about the people getting organised, because I know you fascists are bound to lose, just said with such a little bit of grit in his voice. Incredible. And, you know, again, video about protest songs, for me, has to come up.
Yeah. So, next, I have gone... proto-rap, would you call it?
Yeah,
proto-rap?
100%.
Proto-rap, poetry, whatever you want to call it.
Poetry, proto-rap.
The revolution will not be televised, by Gil Scott-Heron. Serving as a wake-up call to everyone, particularly African Americans at the time, the song critiques consumer culture, urging people to stop being passive viewers and become active participants in changing their own minds and society, reflecting a need for radical change and awareness rather than just media representation. That's pretty much what I've got. I put that together myself through various other people's, you know.
Yeah.
And it pretty much is it in a nutshell. Proto-rap song. I've always been a huge fan of 70s black exploitation movies.
Yeah.
This artists like Gil Scott-Heron were particularly popular amongst movements like the Black Panthers and stuff like that. And on a lot of those 70s films, you hear a lot of this type of stuff. And I've always been a fan of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's you could call it a bit avant-garde for its time.
Yeah, it's out there. Like.
You know what I mean? And it's great. I mean, and the things he tells us, basically he's telling us what will be televised is only what they want us to see, basically, and that's what he's saying. And this is more importantly though, this is what will not be televised, and he tells us what won't be televised. And you won't see this happening in this neighborhood because they don't want you to see that. Brilliant album. Essential, really. I think everyone should have a copy of this in their collection. Every serious music fan. Brilliant. Gil Scott-Heron. Pieces of Man, and the song "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." Brothers.
Amazing. Yeah, that's our picks. You got anything else to say?
I haven't. Did you say you had a... I don't have an honourable mention, but did you say you did have one?
Well, I had one that was very, very close to getting in my top 5, and I bumped it at the end. So I'll shout it out anyway as an honourable mention. It's Tom Robinson Band, Sing If You're Glad to Be Gay.
I've just thought one.
Go on.
I'm gonna get a Phil Taylor and throw one in there.
Let's go.
I'm gonna Phil Taylor it. I'm gonna go Refuse Resist by Sepultura.
Nice.
That's a great one.
That's
a really good one.
Excellent choice.
There you go.
Right, cool. So there's obviously fucking thousands of them. Let us know in the comments what your 5s would be. Don't forget, like, subscribe, go ring the bell for notifications. Instagram, Facebook, and give us some follows and messages and likes. And we'll see you next week.
That's what I say, that's what I do. These are my reasons.